Welcome to the Year of the Movie podcast, the podcast where we talk about movies from the year of the movie 2023. This one's a different one. In fact, you're gonna hear me here in a second intro it again because this is our live episode that we did, but we first wanted to just do a little intro that basically just said it's gonna sound different. It's definitely gonna look different. A lot of the footage is not really the best.
Yeah. So this is our episode that we recorded at the Indy PopCon live podcast stage. We're talking about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, everyone's favorite movie of 2023. It was fun to do. We had a good time, but yeah, it's the footage is a mixture of photo booth running off of my laptop, so you're gonna see me looking at my notes, half of my face looking at my notes probably.
Yeah.
And footage from Sean on his phone because he was in the audience.
Yeah.
Bryce was with us.
He was.
Yeah. You will not see him on the laptop.
No.
But yeah, we were happy to do another episode with Bryce again. It's been a little while, so hopefully we can get him to do more.
Yeah.
If our schedules allow.
So without further ado, here's the live podcast.
Welcome to the Year of the Movie podcast, the podcast where we talk about movies from the year of the movie 2023. I'm Sebastian.
I'm Maggie.
I'm Bryce.
This is the podcast where we talk about movies from 2023 because 2023 was quite the weird year for movies. We had 80 for Brady, 65, which was the dinosaur Adam Driver movie, Strays, the talking dog movie that was rated R, many more, like the movie that we're talking about today, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which was quite the movie.
It was, yeah. That's a way to put it.
I think you need to talk.
Yeah.
Come on, Eric.
My son.
Your son, Eric. Your little boy. He needs you.
Great. So the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is after Christopher Robin abandons them for college, Pooh and Piglet embark on a bloody rampage as they search for a new source of food. Bryce, we told you not to watch this movie.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I don't watch movies in general.
Great. This will
Just
be
a TV guy?
Strictly TV and 8-hour-long YouTube videos.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, the classics. So what were everyone's first impressions when they heard about this movie?
Well, so this was the first movie after Winnie the Pooh entered public domain, right? So that's why people made it. So my impression was good on you, I guess. But it was also a horror film about Winnie the Pooh, so it was a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit niche.
Do you remember hearing about this movie, Bryce?
Oh, yeah. At first I was like, oh, fun. It's cool. That's different. And then everyone else kind of started doing open domain horror movies, and it quickly it became a genre of its own, and good on ya, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was essentially my impression. Was like, heard it was going in public domain and was like, oh, that's going to be made into a horror movie immediately, and then it was.
Yep.
Yeah, so we normally talk about the trailer in our episodes. We're skipping that for time today. It's a pretty standard horror movie trailer.
Scary stuff with Winnie the Pooh.
Yep. You know what it is.
I did see the trailer.
Yeah.
It felt boring, almost.
Boring?
Yeah.
Like
Boring's a good word.
It didn't have any life in it.
Yeah.
I'm curious if that transferred over into the movie itself.
Yeah.
It did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Funny you should
So,
mention that.
so I missed nothing.
No.
Yeah. We'll get.
It helps if a movie has a plot normally.
Yeah, and we'll get to the plot in a second, but we always like to just mention the cast. I'm gonna say though this time,
Yeah.
there's really no one you know.
There's no major stars. This is a pretty independent British movie.
Yeah.
They are still working on some pretty independent British movies. The lead actress in this movie, Maria Taylor, is also in a movie called Dinosaur Prison. So
If you like dinosaurs and you like prison,
yeah,
watch Dinosaur
check
Prison.
out her filmography.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so the events of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. There are 100 acres of woods there are creatures inside of them. So Christopher Robin makes friends with these creatures as a little boy.
Classic Winnie the Pooh story.
Yeah, you know it. You love it. And then they grow up and they play together, and Christopher Robin seems to take care of them and feed them. And then he goes to college, which is a devastating move, and the creatures starve, and they decide to eat Eeyore to survive. And then because of the trauma that they went through, they renounce their humanity and vow to never speak again, because these are like humanoid creature hybrids. The lore is not strong, which is shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lore given is a quick animation with a narrator being like, Christopher Robin went to college, and then they got mad and they ate Eeyore.
Sounds like Toy Story.
Oh yeah, because they do
What?
that in Toy Story. What Toy Story did you watch, Bryce?
Oh, it's the third, fourth one.
When they eat
I haven't
Woody?
seen that one yet, actually.
I did have to pirate it.
Oh, okay.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so then Christopher Robin returns to the woods after 5 years with his fiancée Mary, and he wants to prove to her that his childhood friends weren't imaginary. And they arrive at this campsite that has blood and honey everywhere, and then Piglet arrives and they hide from him until he falls asleep, and then they try to escape, and then Piglet immediately kills Mary, and Christopher Robin begs for his life while Winnie the Pooh stands over him.
This is like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
And then the intro of the movie happens with a montage.
Christopher Robin is the one that like is in the first 5 minutes of like the, oh no, we're setting the horror movie, people are dying. It's Christopher Robin.
I feel like you could have just ran the credits right there.
Yeah, the movie's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. So the intro of the movie plays. There's a montage of news coverage about man-animal hybrid creatures in the woods, and a lot of people reported missing. And then it cuts to Maria telling her therapist that she struggles with certain situations and social situations. And her therapist's recommendation is to just get away for a weekend.
New character.
New character.
Okay.
New character is in therapy and is stressed.
Maria is a different character than Mary,
Not Mary.
who is already dead. Just to recap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Maria goes on a girls' trip with Jessica, Alice, Zoe, Laura, and Tina. Don't get attached to any of them. Things go fine.
But also, the way they set it up is the therapist says, go away for the weekend, and then it cuts to Maria driving her car. She gets out, goes into an abandoned gas station, looks around, doesn't see anybody. She's like, hello, is anybody here? And then she goes to who knows? We don't know at this point. She just says, I don't think anybody's here. Like, she says that like she's yelling at someone.
Like, she says it to the camera, basically.
But they've not established that to anybody. And so it's just like, okay, you're just saying it out loud
for the audience.
for the audience.
And then an old man comes out, and he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, do you have gas? And he's like, no. And then she leaves. And that's normally the part in a horror movie where a guy is like, you don't know the rumors about these woods. You should get out of here. But he just goes, okay, bye.
Bye, see ya. And then a different customer walks in. A different customer for a gas station that has no gas.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to her and her 4 friends getting out of a car at like an Airbnb.
It did not establish that she had anyone else around her. She just says like, oh, my friends are in the car. So it was like, oh, okay. Creepy old man at an abandoned gas station. Yeah, you want to make an excuse to get out of here.
And if
She
you can,
wasn't lying.
yeah, if you can believe it, Bryce, this movie was filmed in 8 days.
No, that sounds like it. I mean,
You believe that? Okay.
I like it when a movie tells and not shows.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's more clear for the audience if it just tells me what I should be feeling,
It's
what I
Shakespearean.
should know.
It's Shakespearean that
Yeah.
way.
That's true. Yeah, so Pooh and Piglet begin killing the girls immediately. Tina dies before even getting to the cabin.
There's a weird death with
We're
Tina.
gonna skip that over. Laura is run over by a car. Piglet kills Zoe with a sledgehammer in a pool. These are really inefficient deaths. Just putting that out there.
So I'm hearing Piglet and Pooh. I know there's other characters, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the only ones that show up. In
I don't
this.
know if they were in the public domain yet. I do know that they are in the sequel that came out recently, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
So originally Tigger was supposed to be in this movie, but then the director pulled way back to make sure that he wasn't going to get sued by Disney. So like he had Winnie the Pooh in like the classic red shirt at first, and then in the movie he's just in a red plaid shirt. Tigger's not in the movie. Piglet, it's just Piglet and Pooh.
And also, like, the masks and everything that they're wearing clearly look like masks because it's a cheap horror film.
Yeah.
But everybody in the movie is treating it like they look like an actual bear or an actual pig.
Yeah, they keep seeing them and they're like, "That's no bear." It's like, well, what is it?
It's a yellow rubber man. Like I don't like.
I mean, like it's not human. It's like that clearly looks like a man in a mask. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I understand, bad movie, bad premise. It is fun to flirt with Disney's lawyers.
Oh yeah.
To kind of be like, ooh, we're going to touch that line.
You poke the bear.
Poke the bear, exactly.
Yep.
And then you get blood and honey.
So.
Wait, did we talk about my favorite death of running someone over with a car?
We haven't. We can.
My favorite death was one of the girls. They tied her up, put her on the ground, and then Piglet stood over her. And then Winnie the Pooh turned the car on and just slowly drove over her.
It's really inefficient.
Really slowly.
Yeah.
Was it at least good, like, effects?
It was fine. I mean, yeah, it's like the cheap horror film type of...
Nah, you need action.
Yeah.
So Alice is kidnapped by Piglet, and Maria and Jessica, the other survivors, they decide to follow and try and rescue her with Maria's giant gun that she has, that she got for self-protection, but it's like the biggest pistol that you could possibly get. So they rescue Alice, and they also find Christopher Robin being held hostage.
He's still alive.
He's still alive.
He's tied up. He's tied up.
Yeah.
And then they have a scene where Winnie the Pooh is torturing Christopher Robin. And Christopher Robin is like, Pooh, why are you doing this? It's okay. We can be friends. Like, we can fix this. And then Winnie the Pooh grabs hair. It's not
hair.
Just like hair, like a big rope of hair that's on the wall. And there's a little ribbon tied on it. And it's apparently supposed to be Eeyore's tail that they kept. And then he uses Eeyore's tail to whip Christopher Robin.
Huh. Okay, so I'm going to back up just a little bit.
Why do you have questions? It's just very clear. Is it because it didn't tell us?
So, okay. So, how long ago did Christopher Robin go to college
Unclear.
at this point?
So
4 years?
He left them for 5 years.
Okay.
And then it's unclear how long he's been held hostage.
And these are fully grown
Adult?
animal-human hybrids.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
So, when he was that age, they had to have been...
Again, unclear. I feel like you're really trying to question the well-thought-out lore of this movie.
The logic is sound to me, Bryce. I don't know
Yes.
why.
It holds up.
The dates don't line up.
That's the problem you have with this movie, the timeline?
That's it. Everything else seems fine.
All right. Well, so Christopher Robin is held hostage. They rescue him and another woman, Charlene. Don't get attached to Charlene. She wants to murder Piglet.
Wait, hold on. These are new characters
So
from the...
Charlene is that other customer from the abandoned gas station.
Remember her?
Do you remember her?
No.
Neither did
Good.
we.
Yeah. Yeah, so Charlene confronts Piglet. She has this whole monologue where she's like, look at what he did to my face. I'm going to kill him. And then she takes Maria's gun and she starts calling for Piglet. And she's like, come out here.
Fires a bullet into the air.
Yeah.
Waste of
and
a
then
bullet.
Piglet comes out and then she has the gun pointed at Piglet. She's giving another monologue about like, you're going to die. How dare you? All that good stuff. And then she pulls the trigger and the gun is empty.
There was one bullet in the massive gun that this person who was like, she went through some PTSD traumatic event.
She had a stalker, and that's why she had
a
it
stalker, so she got a gun, but put one bullet in it. And was like, that'll do.
there. So
That'll
Piglet
do,
kills her
Pig.
immediately. Yeah. So Charlene confronts Piglet. Maria and Jessica run away from Pooh into the woods, and then Alice decides to stay behind to get revenge on Piglet, and she hits him with his own sledgehammer. I thought she killed Piglet. Apparently, he's just knocked unconscious.
Oh, I thought he was dead.
Apparently, he's just knocked unconscious because I think he shows up in the sequel that came out this year.
Oh, I don't know if the sequel's connected though. We never.
Oh.
I don't. Yeah.
I've got info.
Oh, okay, you have
yeah.
info.
Had a sledgehammer?
Oh, did we? Sorry.
No,
Piglet
you
had
skipped
a
over that.
sledgehammer this whole
Piglet's
time.
weapon
Okay, that's
of choice.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
Okay, you're on board with the movie now.
Great.
Yeah, back on board. Timeline,
Great.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. So Pooh kills her with a machete. Anyway, Maria and Jessica find a group of Southern American men on the side of the road.
We're in the UK.
Yeah, we're in the 100 Acre
So they're
Woods.
running away. And then a truck stops over, and they're like, "How y'all do? What are y'all doing? You guys okay?"
It's the guy from the gas station and his 4 closest friends.
Okay. Classic group.
Classic combo. Yeah. So they find a group of guys. They're like, this man bear is bothering these women. We have to protect them. And they all pull out these weapons. It's this really drawn out sequence of like, this guy has a baseball bat.
It's like a 5-minute sequence before they even get to the fight.
God
Yeah.
bless America.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just showing off the different weapons. And then the last one is a guy with a bottle. And it's like, well, he gets 1 hit.
Yeah.
That man's gonna die. Pooh kills all of them. Jessica and Maria sit in the truck and scream the entire time.
Pooh, I want to say, Pooh kills them like a bear this time, not by running them over, but just by slapping them.
Yeah, Pooh.
Remember, this is a humanoid animal creature, so it's
Pooh
just
has
his
human
hand.
hands.
He
Just
has
his
no,
hand.
There's no bear claws.
There's no
No.
claws. It's like a yellow rubber hand, and he's just like slaps them
slaps.
to death.
like a cat.
Pretty much like a cat.
Yeah. He plays with his food. Yeah, so Jessica and Maria get in the truck. They try and run Pooh over. They crash the truck. They hit nothing, but the car crashes. And then Maria is gaining consciousness and sees Jessica being decapitated by Winnie the Pooh. It's one of those days.
I want to say the crash really is they hit the brakes and then it cuts to black, and then when they wake up, they're both unconscious and like their heads hit the dash or something just from hitting the brakes. There's nothing in front of them.
No, my car does something similar.
Oh, whenever you hit the brakes, you go unconscious?
Yeah.
And then your
It's
passenger
a
is
real problem.
decapitated? Excellent. Yeah, so Maria is about to be killed by Pooh. He drags her out of the truck, but then suddenly our favorite character, Christopher Robin, shows back
He's
up.
back.
He runs Pooh over with another car. So he's pinning Winnie the Pooh in between 2 cars.
Wait, so he's got.
oh,
Did
you
they
have
show
questions?
him get out?
Yeah, they helped him get out.
Okay,
And he
okay.
was like, "You go, I'm fine."
Okay.
And so they just leave him, and then he
As you
shows
do.
up like 20 minutes later in a car, pinning Winnie the Pooh between the 2 cars.
Well, in a horror movie, you don't want to stick together.
Exactly.
Correct.
That's like rule number 1.
Want to separate.
Yeah.
Don't
There's
take any weapons.
No safety in numbers. Only load the gun with 1 bullet.
Yep.
We all know this. Christopher Robin pins Pooh between the 2 cars.
And they think, "Oh, we did it. We're fine."
Yeah.
And then like, they're just laying on the ground, just
Chris-
resting, because
yeah.
now is a perfect time to rest.
Yeah, this is when you stop while you're ahead. Christopher Robin and Maria, they try and get away, but then the cars explode and it knocks them over. Pooh is fine.
Pooh, who's in the middle of the explosion, fine.
Now, we're talking about human-animal hybrids here.
You're right.
We're in uncharted territory.
It's stronger than the average bear. I'm just trying to work in these puns.
Exactly.
So
That works.
Pooh is like right on top of them. Christopher Robin is begging Pooh to spare Maria's life, saying that he'll never leave him again if he does. And then Pooh speaks and says, "You left," and then kills Maria.
I thought he just says no.
He says, "You left."
Really, I really thought it was the Planet of the Apes scene where Caesar is just like, "No." I really thought he just said no.
I did too, but then I read about it on IMDb and it says "You left," so I'm gonna entrust the database.
Maybe you're just thinking of a better movie.
I'm probably thinking of a better movie.
So many of those exist. Yeah.
Almost every movie.
Almost nearly all of them. Yeah, so Christopher Robin runs into the woods as Pooh repeatedly stabs Maria's body, and then the movie stops.
The movie's just done right then.
Yeah,
Yeah. The final girl trope is Christopher Robin.
Christopher
so that's
Robin
nice.
is my ultimate final girl. Yeah. So that's the plot breakdown.
That's the movie, Bryce.
No questions, right?
Any?
You're on board?
So
No.
I do, but I don't think they matter.
I mean, that's true, but
Yeah.
go ahead. What do you got for us?
So I think I've seen pictures, and I was about to look it up just to confirm. Piglet is said to be a pig, right?
Piglet is a pig. Yep.
Wearing a boar mask.
It's
Yeah.
like a boar mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's not a little guy.
He's real big in this.
that statement is my question.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thanks for your statement
Great.
question.
Yep.
Okay, so let's just hit some of the highlights. There's some sloppy establishing of things. Shocking. There's the gas station scene. Everyone in this movie has a different accent. So if it's hard to follow where exactly it takes place. If you've got like some people are British, some people are like pretty neutral, and then you have the fully Southern, almost hillbilly stereotypes that are also there.
It's definitely like made for American audiences, I think, like the American cheap horror film audience.
It
and
is.
So I think they're like, anyone who can do an American accent, go ahead and do it. But no one could. But they tried.
Wait, so did they establish that this was taking place over in the UK, or?
No,
No, there's no. Well, I mean, other than
the
it being
100-acre woods.
the 100-acre woods.
which we all know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
So again, no follow-up questions.
And everyone had American accents?
Not everyone,
Not
Only some of
okay.
them.
just some of them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you're gonna have a horror movie in the woods, you're gonna have to have the rednecks,
Sure.
and you're not gonna have, oi, bro,
Yeah, but I think
let's get the base.
Northern Britain is kind of like the.
Nah.
All right.
You want the good old American.
You
rednecks.
want American rednecks
Yeah.
who immigrated to the UK and were like, the laws here, they're easier to deal with.
This movie also just follows Pooh and Piglet, and it was unclear to me if they ate everyone, and these are the only two that are left, or if it was just Eeyore that dies. It turns out that the rest are also alive because they show up in the sequel.
Yeah. And it is connected?
It is connected. Oh boy, is it connected. And then my personal question was, are they killing for food or just revenge? Because, again, these deaths are very inefficient. The way that Piglet kills a woman in a pool is he just slowly approaches her and then hits her with a sledgehammer in the pool. There's so much... You gotta put so much more effort into that swing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
water.
that one.
Is she underwater?
Okay, so, like, she's running away from him. There's an indoor pool at this Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
She jumps into the pool,
She jumps into the pool.
and she's like,
The indoor
I'm
pool to
good.
get away
You,
from
you
the
can't get me.
pigman."
I'm in a pool. And then he just slowly walks into the pool, and then she's like, oh, no, and starts frantically swimming away.
Is this pig or a piglet, or is it?
This is Piglet
Yeah.
only.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he's got the sledgehammer, just
And a chain.
walking. Oh, and a chain, that's right.
Yeah.
And she's frantically trying to get away. He somehow gets her. And then she's just floating in the pool
This is also a pool that's shallow enough that the feet are touching the water.
the entire time, but she's still trying to, like, swim.
So he's double fisting weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, go on.
Anyway,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The logic's there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alice and Zoe are in a relationship, and it's not going well.
There's like one line that's like, things are gonna get better between us, and then
There's-
they both die.
So there's like they establish that like all of these friends are here, they're hanging out together, and then they have like random kind of gross male gazy scenes of like women chilling in their Airbnb in a bikini. You know how you do that.
And then Winnie and Piglet are just like lurking in
Watching.
the woods.
But then Alice and Zoe are Alice, I think it truly doesn't matter which one, but Alice put like rose petals on the bed and was like,
I'm trying.
yeah, and Zoe was like, oh, you think we're at that stage in our relationship? That's cool.
Yeah.
Rose petal stage.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then they both die, so R.I.P., but that's another one for representation.
It feels like they're rotating all the characters so much. Do you think that people just gave up halfway through and they're like, we need another one.
Yeah.
We need to get another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all of the characters in this movie are purely for the kill.
Mm.
Like that's literally all they're there for. And I know it's a horror film,
And that's like the point.
but a good horror film typically has a little bit of a story, or at least really good effects, or
Dude, just
something.
a little bit of a story is all that I thought we would get, and
Yeah.
we didn't. Yeah, everyone keeps saying that they clearly aren't human. Again,
But it
he's
just
got-
looks like people in Halloween costumes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then okay, so we said earlier that there is a character who was supposed to meet them at the Airbnb but who never made it. And then like maybe once they're like, I wonder where Zoe is.
Tina.
Tina. Do you want to know where Tina went?
Where's Tina?
Tina was lost and then got attacked by them
Okay.
in the woods.
Is that
By Piglet and Winnie. Okay?
shown or told?
Oh, it's shown.
Okay.
It
Oh,
is
boy,
shown
is it shown.
That's a first.
so much.
You see everything.
So she's running away, And then she finds a warehouse in the middle of the woods. It's old. It's abandoned, like
the
you do.
safest location.
Yeah, so she
Yeah.
goes in, and she's like, oh, I've made it. I'm fine. She's hiding, and then she's like, I'll make my break for it. The classic make the break. The villain is right there. Okay? She makes the break. Piglet?
Pooh.
Pooh. Okay. Pooh is right there. And they have a little tussle. They're like fighting a little bit. And it's like
And the Pooh
Pooh and this girl.
with the hands
With
the
the
hands
human
strong
hand.
enough to just bop someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then within 5 seconds her shirt comes off.
Okay.
It's not ripped.
It's not ripped. He just yoink.
Yeah.
And it's apparently supposed to be comical, but it's more just like,
It was like we looked down for a second, looked back up, and went, "Hey, this
How
is
did
a
that
different
happen?"
genre of movie now."
and apparently the actress,
It was her idea.
it was her idea. She was like, I think it would be really funny. I don't think it was.
I don't know if it got a laugh. Yeah.
Because it was just like, it was so out of place. Like, it was just made, it wasn't a rip. It wasn't like it was a struggle. It was just
It was truly like he was helping her.
undressed. That's what it looked like.
It's like, hey, I'm trying to go to bed. Can you
Yeah.
just like, I really can't.
And then he killed her.
Okay.
So
In a
that's-
wood chipper.
That's what happened to Tina. Oh yeah, in a wood chipper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie's got everything.
I was about to say it's trying to hit all the main points
Yeah.
of an old like 80s horror film,
Uh-huh.
but just not doing it.
Yeah, it definitely tried.
That's the key word here. Yeah.
Tries keyword.
Should we go to production facts?
Yeah, let's talk about production facts.
Great. This movie was released in the U.S. February 15th, 2023. It's a British film with a U.K. release date of March 10th, 2023. It has an hour and 24-minute runtime, and it's not rated, shockingly. It's got a 3%. It's a strong 3% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 50% audience score. It's got a 16 out of 100 on Metacritic and a C+ from IndieWire. The critic consensus on Rotten Tomatoes just says, "Oh bother."
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. The reviews mostly say it doesn't have a plot, which is true,
Yep.
and it isn't super connected to the source material, which is also true.
Yeah.
The budget of this movie was $50,000, which is impressive.
It is. I mean, we recently worked on a feature film that had a budget of $50,000,
Yeah.
and it is a constraint for sure. So
yeah.
like, I get it.
Yeah.
But this one was, whew.
The budget was increased to $50,000 after the film announcement gained so much online popularity.
Yeah.
I don't know what the starting budget was, but oh boy. And then this is the largest budget that the film's director had worked with and the largest that the production company ITN had spent on anything. So a bit of a risk for
Yeah.
them, but it unfortunately
Was a success.
paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has earned $5.2 million.
Oh my God.
$2 million in the U.S. and Canada, $1 million in Mexico, and $3 million from other territories. It cannot be released in Europe because of the
The
public
copyright
domain.
laws there are different than America.
Yeah, so it's going to be like 2 more years,
Before-
and then they can finally see.
Well, we want to know what they think about it before we
Yeah.
really like give a
Exactly.
final.
Yeah, so January 1st, 2022, Winnie the Pooh enters the U.S. public domain, and the writer, director, producer, and editor, Riz Frank Waterfield, begins development of this movie.
Yep.
April 2022, principal photography begins. January to April, he was like, we're done, we're ready to go.
That's enough time to write a feature-length film.
sure,
Especially
yeah.
this one.
Yeah. So principal photography begins and takes place over 10 days. And then January 26, 2023, the film premieres in Mexico. It was originally slated for an October 2022 release, so we almost couldn't talk about it.
Dang.
We exclusively talk about 2023 movies. But this release was pushed back due to the popularity impacting the production schedule. It got popular, and then they were like, oh, we'll give you an extra 2 days to make this movie.
That's
then-
enough.
Yeah,
Just to add
that's fine.
credits.
And then January 2023, it was announced that the original one-night theatrical release in the US, UK, and Canada would be expanded to a full theatrical run.
Wow.
Which is why this movie earned a whopping $5.2 million.
Yeah.
It has won some awards.
Has it?
It's won 5 Golden Raspberry Awards
Oh no.
for Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel, and Worst Screen Couple for Pooh and Piglet. They had no chemistry.
We're the worst. We're the worst.
It's won every category it was nominated for, making it one of the biggest sweeps in Raspberry history.
I mean, that is honestly impressive.
it's
So good
it's
for it.
tied with
And
The
they
Postman.
and they used it.
Yeah.
They definitely used that press.
Yeah. The tagline for this movie is "This ain't no bedtime story."
That is a terrible tagline for like.
Yeah. It was also in all caps on the poster to really highlight.
Wow.
This ain't no bedtime story.
Yeah.
This was filmed in Ashdown Forest, which is the inspiration for the real 100 Acre Woods. It is the first installment in the Riz Frake Waterfield's The Twisted Childhood universe, which is a shared continuity franchise.
Wow. So
He's got big plans.
does that include the Mickey Mouse one that they're doing, the Steamboat
No,
Willie?
that one is unfortunately unrelated.
Ah, dang.
Yeah.
Are we gonna, if we're going after all the, what are they called?
Stories?
Open.
Public domain?
Public
We're
domain?
going after all the public domain things. Where's our Shakespeare horror film? You know,
I would assume there's plenty out there.
where's
I assume
you
there are
know,
better ones
It's
out
just
there.
not a hot commodity topic like Winnie the Pooh or Peter Pan.
Sounds
Yeah,
like we're leaving money
so-
on the table there.
So Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 was released March 26, 2024 with a bigger budget and a complete recast.
And I've heard that one is like a decent horror film.
Yeah. I think I had it at some point, but yeah, Blood and Honey 2 has a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes with an 80% audience score.
That's
so it's a jump.
An improvement from 3.
Yeah. And then the other announced films that are in this Twisted Childhood universe are Bambi the Reckoning,
Oh my god.
Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, and Pinocchio Unstrung.
Wow.
He's loose.
They cut his strings.
This man's loose puppet.
The most terrifying concept, yeah. This film was supposed to play in Hong Kong, but it got pulled days from its initial release due to technical malfunction.
Oh, I'm sure.
Ooh.
But there's speculation it was pulled because Winnie the Pooh has been used by pro-democracy protesters to mock China's president. So they're like, let's just get rid of any source material for them.
I never understood the concern there, because out of all the characters you could be compared with,
Yeah.
just a happy little bear. Oh, bother.
It's a lazy bear. I think that's.
Yeah,
There's worse.
censorship is a thing. And then Frake Waterfield has expressed interest in other franchises to get his hands all over them, like
God.
the Teletubbies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the Powerpuff Girls.
The Teletubbies one would be good because they'd get trapped inside the monitors.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. I like the Teletubbies.
You don't want to ruin your childhood even more?
No.
Okay.
Interesting. Should we get to our rating?
Yeah, as always, we rate the films that we watch. We have a 4 rating system with 5 options. 0 out of 4 is, oh no, stop making movies, you gotta stop. 1 is, that was a movie. 2 is, that's a well-made movie. 3, enjoyable and kind of technically good. 4 is Oscar-worthy. I think I can just speak for all of us that we gave this a 4.
We gave it a rating for sure. Yeah.
No, I gave it a 0. I mean, it's a rough watch.
Yeah.
It's not even like a, do you want to watch something that's bad and have fun kind of watch? Like, it's just
baffling.
it's a slog all the way through.
Yeah, I also gave it a 0. This was one of the ones where it was like, normally if we watch movies for this podcast, we're like, all right, here's a redeemable quality.
There's nothing in this movie that was redeemable. And I think
Yeah.
this is our first complete, like, we both gave it a 0. I
Our
think this is the
average
first-
score is 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, it's won our prestigious award.
Yep.
It's the sweep continues.
Bryce, do you have any other questions about what we've talked about? Other things that may have happened?
Life in general.
Life in general. How are you?
Well, let me tell you.
Do you regret that we told you not to watch this movie, or do you wish that you had this viewing experience?
So I've been having a little mental film going on as you explain it,
Huh?
and it doesn't sound too terrible, because it's in my head I'm hitting beats like
It doesn't hit beats.
no. Okay, so now I'm way off.
No, knock the beats out.
Okay, no,
Those are gone.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
Like how the movie ends.
it stops.
It just
done.
stops.
It's
There's
like-
no beats. There's no resolve. There's no like, hey, at least Christopher Robin is out here. No.
It's
But
like they reached the end of day 10. They're like, well, that's our
We're
movie.
out. We got 2 extra days. We can't push it anymore.
now
just
we can
ridiculous.
see that as a negative, or we can see it as they don't want to drag it on. They're like, no, this is it.
You're right.
Short,
Yeah.
succinct.
You're like, let's just end
Sure.
it. Let's call it.
It's
Let's
done.
be nice.
Let's
it's
stop at the hour 24 mark.
complete rough movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can watch it on Peacock? Question mark.
It's on Peacock. If you
Yeah.
have Peacock, then you can go watch it if
Yeah.
you really want to.
If you want to have an ideal viewing experience, if you want to play this as a drinking game, I feel like it's every time the movie makes you go, huh, and then you get trashed immediately.
Yeah.
Or hydrated, whatever your.
If you're a water
choices.
drinker like us,
Yeah.
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 We've got a little bit of extra time from our small audience. Do you have any questions or
Any
thoughts you
burning
want to?
questions?
That's fair, because we also don't have any about the movie we actually
We
watched.
I
give
will
you
s-
every piece of information we have.
I will say the second one completely went under the radar for me.
Oh, that it happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the hype died down by the time it released.
Unfortunately.
Well, that's the reason why these kind of like just taking a public domain character and then just doing any kind of movie with it, it's novelty
Yeah.
is all it is.
Yeah.
And then it's not, sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
But people will see it and like, oh, hey, that made a lot of money. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then we're just wasting money on something that people higher ups think
Yeah.
we want.
I just wish that they had started with the Pinocchio one, so that 2022? What year was that? That all 3 Pinocchio movies came out, so we could have
Oh,
had
yeah.
4 Pinocchio movies.
The ideal time.
The year of
movies, yeah.
Pinocchio?
Yeah.
Just a
That's our
podcast
next-
about. Yeah, that's their next podcast actually.
Year of Pinocchio.
We will have 4 episodes.
Well, so typically we end the podcast by discussing other things we've watched recently. We have been too busy with other shoots that we've been doing and whatnot. So we just want to kind of
Let's plug our own stuff.
plug our own stuff. If you don't know, this is the Year of the Movie podcast, the podcast where we talk about movies from the year of the movie 2023, because 2023 was a wild year for movies, so we just discussed 2023 movies. The podcast will never die.
There's so many. There's a spreadsheet, and it just keeps
There's
getting
so
longer.
many.
Well, there's also a little bit of leniency of movies that went to festivals
Yes.
Yes.
that year.
Yeah, we're doing loopholes to extend the podcast for years and years and years.
Speaking of festivals,
Yep.
we are in them.
Yes.
You can watch our movie tonight as part of Indie Film Fest. It's in the LOL Shorts block in the Living Room Theater, Auditorium 3, 8 p.m. It's called Hello, My Name is Friend Man. It's a short film.
It's a mockumentary about a superhero who doesn't have real superpowers. He's just trying to be a friend to everybody. And then tomorrow here at PopCon, in the PopCon Film Fest, we have a little music video, basically,
Yeah. We're in
playing.
the music video block.
Yeah, which is when is that? 2:15.
2:15 and Screen 2. It's called The Loveland Frog. It's about a cryptid who...
Just trying to find his place.
It's inspired by the Loveland Frog cryptid in the Ohio area.
Yeah, because we live in Cincinnati now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And we love cryptids.
yeah. So this is definitely a short episode for us, in general.
Hey, it's surprising that there wasn't a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah.
There both is and isn't, and I am fine with the length of this conversation about Winnie
Yep.
the Pooh.
There's only so much you can say about a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
bright. It's warm. It smells like garbage.
You probably shouldn't be near it for too long.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's pretty much us. You can follow us places. Our Instagram is Virtual Cocktail. YouTube, Virtual Cocktail or Virtual Cocktail Recordings is where we post our podcast stuff. I think that's pretty much it. We have a Patreon. Whatever.
Who doesn't?
And if you find this video and you want to leave comments or questions, then we answer it on a different podcast that we do where it's just kind of us hanging out, talking, being comedic, and all
Learn
that
about
stuff.
our life adventures.
Yep. The next one, we will be talking about this. So
So if you want to relive the experience,
if you want to watch and be like, I saw them live, then you can watch that video.
There you go.
But otherwise, I think thank you to our live audience
Yeah.
for watching, and we'll
to
see you in our
PopCon
next
for having
episode.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for PopCon. Yeah.
thank you.